Hey, this is Randy Velker with Technophobics Anonymous. I'll be your therapist today as we're doing little introductory stuff dealing with the actual computer itself. We'll be looking at the hardware of the system. We're not going to be training you to be an expert in the hardware, but we do want you to be familiar with the computer a little bit. This is the brains of the system, and there's a few things we need to know about it. This is typically what the computer itself looks like. Now notice here on the front of this computer there's one primary button. This is the on-off button. Unless this button is turned on, nothing is going to be happening inside of the computer. The other thing that we need to concern ourselves with this computer is the CD drive or the DVD drive. Typically there'll be one of those somewhere near the top of the computer. When this button right here is depressed or pushed in, the tray will pop out. That's not a cup holder or coffee holder or anything like that. It's where you're going to be putting the CD drive in or the DVD disc. Excuse me, the disc in there. CD disc or the DVD disc. Now that CD disc or the DVD disc is what is going to have computer programs on it that you are then loading into your computer. Let me flip it around. Now on the back of this computer, there's a bunch of different plugins, places where cords go into. Now all of these different cords are unique. So if you pulled all the cords off, you could fairly easily, through the process of elimination, go back there and plug all of them back in. Some of them go to printers, some of them go to the computer monitor, some of them go to outlet in the wall, just for power, some of them for the mouse, for the keyboard, so hook into the internet, that type of thing. But they're all unique plugs, so you should be able to put them all back in. Some of them are called USB ports. Right? Those are important, and those are all the same. Anytime you have a peripheral, like a digital camera or a camcorder, sometimes a microphone or even a mouse, many of these different things can be plugged straight into a USB port, and it doesn't matter in what order you plug them in. They're identical, so you can just plug them in right next to each other. The computer will recognize what it is, and we'll start using that device. When looking at a computer in order to purchase, there's three things that we need to remember about the actual computer itself. The first one has to do with the speed of the brain or the processor inside the computer. Now it's measured in megahertz. Actually, now it's measured in gigahertz. You're going to want something that's 3 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz, and it doesn't really matter if you know exactly what the gigahertz means. It's just the speed of the processing that takes place in there. What you need to know is you need to know the faster the better. Obviously, the faster the processor, the more expensive it is, so you're going to have to play some of that off. But if your computer was made within the last couple of years, if you've purchased it within the last couple of years, the brain will probably be fast enough to do everything that we need to do, getting you up to speed to surf the internet proficiently. The second thing we need to remember when dealing with a computer is how much memory. It's called random access memory, or RAM. Now this is how much memory a computer has and can hold in its brain simultaneously. And these are measured right now in gigabytes. You're going to want 1 gigabyte at a minimum, 2 gigabytes preferably, or on up from there would sometimes be better. But a minimum of 1 gigabyte. Now, and what this does, this kind of random access memory allows many different programs to be open simultaneously without the computer crashing down, and which is very, very helpful. The third thing we need to be concerned about when dealing with a computer is the hard disk size. There's a hard disk drive in here, and basically what it is, it is analogous to a file cabinet. The bigger the file cabinet, the more stuff you can store inside there. You can put word processor documents, photos, movies, all kinds of stuff. But the bigger the hard drive, the better. You're going to be looking for something with 250 gigabytes of memory or storage would be good. If you're going to be doing a lot of movies, digital video stuff, you're going to want an even bigger file cabinet, because that kind of stuff takes a lot of space. Again, bigger is better. Now, all of these you're going to have to play off price versus the high quality that you get of either the processor speed, how much RAM you have, or how much storage you have in there on the hard disk space. But those are the three things you need to concern yourself with a computer. Now that you're familiar with these, we'll go and look at a couple other pieces of hardware that will get you up and running on the internet. Well, thanks for watching. This has been Randy Velker for Technophobics.